watching data types and variables in JavaScript. So data types can be split into two categories. We've got primitive data types and complex data types. For primitive, we've got string, number, Boolean, undefined, null, symbol, and begin. For this video, we'll ignore the last two. And for complex, we've got objects. So on the right, I've got our intro.js file open. So a variable you can think of as a container that stores information or data. To declare a variable, we use this keyword var, and then give it a name, in this case string. The variable name can be whatever you like it to be, and to assign a value to that variable, we use equals and then the value we would like to assign. A value string can be created using quotation marks, so double or single, as long as they are matching. So this is a valid string, and this is also a valid string. So this is a string of hello assigned to this variable called string. Moving on, we've got number here. So we've got the number 50 assigned to the variable number. 50 is an example of an integer, which is a round number. And after that, we've got a number here without the keyword var. So what we've actually done here is called reassigning a new variable to a declared, reassigning a new value to a declared variable. So once you declare a variable, you don't need to redeclare it using the keyword var. In order to change the value, you simply reassign a new value. In this case, we've reassigned the value 50.78, and this is an example of a floating point number, which is a number containing a decimal with at least one number after the decimal point. Moving on, we've got an example of Booleans. So Booleans are either true or false. In this case, I've set a value of true to the variable Boolean and then reassigned that to false. And moving on, we've got undefined and null. So if you declare a variable without giving it a value, it will have a value of undefined. Or you can also assign it a value of undefined. And then for objects, an object is created using these curly braces. So we've got an open and close curly brace. And within that, objects contain what are called key value pairings. So as an example here, I've got a title property, which is the key, and then the value, which is a string of Harry Potter. So this line here is considered a key value pairing, and that is indicated by this colon here. So the property, which is the key of title, and then instead of an equals, we use a colon and then provide the value after that. And then to end that key value pairing, we use a comma, and following that, we can declare another key value pairing. So in this case, we've got a property of author with a value of J.K. Rowling. Okay, so values in an object can be any of the primitive data types that we discussed earlier. So in the release here, I've got a number of 2005, and available, I've also got a Boolean of true. And values can also be objects as well. So you can have objects within an object. So as an example, property of an example, and we can create another object here. So we can say, year and 1995. Okay, so these are just examples of what we can have within an object. So an object is a list of key value pairings, and those values can be any of the primitive or complex data types that we've discussed. All right, and just to visualize what we've done, I've console log string number and object. So in our web page here, you can see in the console, this was the original 5 we